What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Suspicion Season 1, Episode 4, The Devil You Know. This episode, of course, is directed by Stefan Schwartz. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome! Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome! Hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video to watch, including this one. Okay, so this episode is probably the best episode of this series so far. This is an interesting episode. It's not the fact that we're being introduced to a character like Eddie. It's the overall outcome of this episode, which I found really intriguing and interesting. And if you watch the episode, especially if you're watching this spoiler discussion, it doesn't end well for a certain character in this episode or in the series, which I found really depressing, to be fairly honest. But this episode, of course, is the introduction to Eddie. Eddie, of course, was introduced in the last episode, but here's an episode where he fully kind of comes into the mix. He's being interrogated by Vanessa and Scott. He's a very carefree individual. His alibi is very, he's like, yeah, I wasn't there. I was in New York. I love New York. I go there all the time. And he starts talking about, what'd you do in New York? Were you at a bar? He's like, I don't remember, probably. And then he says he had sex, and he's like, they're like, who'd you have sex with? Where'd you have sex? He's like, very, very personal questions, but he's like, whatever, I'll answer the questions. And Vanessa has to tell Scott that they're gonna have to release him because they really don't have anything on him. There's not really much they can do, unfortunately. So this kind of makes Scott mad. And, it's funny that that dynamic of Scott and Vanessa is starting to sour quite a bit in this especially in this episode, because Scott is under pressure from the FBI to find out where Leo is. Vanessa and the British intelligence aren't doing a very good job, to what he says. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that Scott is doing that Vanessa doesn't know about, which is the unfortunate nature of the world we live in. But in the process of everything, Eddie is released, and he buys a burner phone, a phone that he can break up if he needs to. And he figures out where Adesh lives, and he shows up at Adesh's house. Adesh is sleeping in his car because he's been kicked out of the house. And he is able to convince Adesh to go with him to recruit these other individuals that are part of what he considers a frame job, I guess you could say. They are under this kind of conspiracy. They're being blamed, and they're all innocent. And they basically travel by train. They see the news story, the story of Kathrine Newtons situation. And they end up at Tara's house, and Tara, of course, is very confrontational about it because she's like, why are you here? I don't want to be seen with you guys. And she slams the door on it, and then I'll talk about what happens at the end of that. But they're trying to recruit everybody to kind of figure out what's going on because they're all innocent, apparently, at least supposedly what's supposed to be happening. But that's kind of where the Eddie and Adesh story leads. Eddie and Adesh are walking down an alley. They're being, of course, followed, so they find a way to kind of hide away from the person that's following them. And then you have Terry and Heather. Basically, they're walking down a road and they're talking, and a group, I'm assuming it's classmates of Tara's class that she teaches, show up. They have the stickers that say "Tell the Truth," the hashtag "Tell the Truth" for Kathrine, blah blah blah, putting stickers all around London and England and stuff like that. And the way Tara kind of stares away once Heather starts walking the other direction is very telling that she knows something more than she shouldn't. And it's really interesting that of all the characters, she seems to be the most uneasy about everything, because Adesh and Eddie seem to be just we got framed, and same thing with Natalie, and here is Tara, and she's just giving kind of a look. So we'll see what happens with her character, because it's not really it's kind of some things are open mystery wise, but it's not fully explained what she knows, if she knows anything, that type of thing. But once again, because Natalie and Monique have been arrested, Natalie, of course, is going to meet Sean for a drop pickup and stuff like that. The British intelligence and British police are gonna stop him as soon as Natalie hands over the envelope, arrest him, so on and so forth, all that good stuff. And basically what ends up happening is Natalie agrees to it. They find a location, hundreds of SWAT members in this location, a couple miles away. He just says that don't bring any, of course Sean would say don't bring anybody, don't have anybody there, especially your sister. And Vanessa decides she's going to go with Natalie. She's going to hide in the back of the car, which I thought was cool. They have some nice chats and stuff like that. The relationship's kind of, it's a little kind of nice that they're going back and forth. Then we end up seeing a motorcyclist at the drop point, and the motorcyclist, of course, is Sean. He picks up the envelope, and he automatically shoots Natalie in the chest. Now, with that said, you think Natalie's down for the count? Not that way. And he basically is pursued by the police and the British intelligence. They're trying to stop him from getting away. And of course, he finds out the money has a tracker on it. He throws the money away. He escapes, which pisses off Scott. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. It's very convenient that all these police are not able to get Scott. Sean's able to disappear pretty quickly. And this upsets Scott, who tells New York and Kathrine that what happened, and I'll lead into what's going on there. But in essence, Natalie has a bulletproof vest on. She, of course, if you get shot, even with bulletproof vest, it's going to hurt. So you can see Natalie in a lot of pain. But Natalie and Monique, because of what they did, they're let go. They're going to be under surveillance, of course. And as they're walking up to the house, Natalie's like, I'm sorry, Monique. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Please forgive me. There's a van that pulls up. And the van you don't see what happens, but the van pulls up right next to him. And you can kind of assume where this is going. But like I said, when Eddie and Adesh and Tara, that situation happens, that same van pulls up, and these three individuals are kidnapped by some mercenaries. Now, I thought this was Sean's crew. I thought maybe he hired some people to help him out. But they're taken to an airport hangar. Monique and Natalie are inside, as well as Tara and Eddie and Adesh. And they're pulled up to an airport hangar, and inside this airport hangar is a plane. Now the plane is ready to go, and they pull all these individuals out. Well, apparently it is not Sean's crew, and apparently it's just mercenaries that are maybe part of the kidnapping. Maybe they're part of the FBI. It's not entirely sure. They basically say, we're going to kill you unless you tell us where Leo is. And what's interesting is Tara takes a look and sees a gun in the holster of one of the legs of the mercenaries. And I'm like, that's interesting. The look that she gave earlier, plus there's something that she's not telling people. And at the last moment before they pull the trigger on Tara, of course, Sean pulls up in a vehicle, pretty much starts mowing down all the mercenary people. And one of them survives. And of course, Tara takes a gun and shoots the mercenary dead. And I was like, that's interesting. Like I said, Tara, what is her play? What is her ploy? What does she know? It's really interesting that maybe something will come to light that she's not telling people. But in the process, they're told to get into Sean's vehicle. Natalie goes to Monique, pulls back into Monique, and Monique, with the worst blood in the world, it's like a really bad effect, is dead. And she's already blue and white, which is really quick for somebody who just died. So she's dead. Monique has been killed, which is going to play interestingly to Natalie's character later on. But you can kind of see it when it comes to people dying in a show or movie. You can kind of see it happening a mile away, because the amount of time they spend with Monique is quite a lot, to be fairly honest. They give her like kind of a closure moment, and then, like I said, she dies. So it's kind of obvious and kind of in your face if you think about it. So unless it's like a fake out, she's definitely dead. It's going to break Natalie at some point, I'm sure. She's not going to be happy in the next episode, I'm sure. But they get away, and that's kind of where the episode ends. But then there's the Kathrine Newtons stuff, where she finds out the botched arrest happens, and she decides she's going to put out a statement on her own to kind of give her side of the story. And in the process of everything, they basically take one of the account executives or something, clean her up and make her look nice and presentable, and she's a representative for Kathrine Newton. And she gives a statement. She talks about where her fundraising came from, and then she's going to drop out as being an ambassador for the United States for England. Trying to see if this would work again, her kid back. And then the truth people, the ones that want the truth out of Kathrine Newton, put out another video that's been hacked from the system. And this video involves, they want to know who Eric Cresswell is, and it's this older individual. Now, as we know, there's nothing on Eric Cresswell. We don't know anything about it. Like, what is happening? What is Kathrine Newton doing in this respect? But we'll see what happens. We'll see where this story leads. What exactly does Kathrine know? What exactly is she hiding? Is she fully responsible for Leo getting kidnapped? Maybe she's involved with the kidnapping for specific reasons. Might go down that route. maybe a little disappointed if it does, but we'll see it happen. So, and like I said, Sean escapes, you know, and so on and so forth. Like I said, told you about the end, but he has a moment where he meets up with this guy who's part of whatever he's involved with, and they hand him a bag, and the guy pulls out a knife and stabs Sean, and then Sean, of course, you know, dismantles the guy's knife and ends up killing him in like the most crazy way possible. He puts the bag the guy gave him over his head and just like thrusts him up into the spikes of this bridge, and he ends up stabbing him in the head. And it's some brutal stuff. It really is. It's pretty crazy to watch. But I mean, I've been talking pretty quickly about the episode. I think the episode's good. I really do. I think it's probably the best episode of the series because you're starting to see small bits and pieces of what this series is entailing so far. You're starting to see maybe who are the people that are not telling the truth. Maybe the people who are. You're going to find out more and more that possibly Kathrine Newton might be involved somehow, or Tara might be involved somehow. Maybe it's a trick. Maybe there's something that Sean's keeping secret that he's going to tell us in the next episode to kind of, you know, fill us in the gaps of what's going on. But overall, I think it was just a really unique, really interesting kind of fun episode to watch. It was sad to see Monique leave and die or whatever happened to her character, you know, gunshot or whatever. But you know, it's really intriguing to see these things happen and how they play out, and just kind of how it kind of subverts your kind of conceptual thinking of what's going to happen in the series. And I'm really intrigued what's going to happen in the 5th episode. Like I said, that's the, you know, kind of the midpoints of this series, where we're going to start probably giving some revelations and, you know, maybe a little bit more on what's going on. But I think overall it's pretty good. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Like I said, it does suffer from a little bit of problematic stuff with like Scott and Vanessa and the whole convenient nature of the motorcycle chase, and, you know, the fact that it's very convenient that Sean showed up at the last minute to kill everyone and everybody is safe except for Monique. So that does deter from the episode a little bit, but it's more nitpicks than anything, so I'm not really 100% worried about it. But overall, 9 out of 10, still a great episode. So, and of course, that'll do it. That'll be my take on Suspicion Season 1, Episode 4, which of course is The Devil You Know. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below, what do you think of the overall episode? How do you feel about where this story is going? Do you want more? Do you want less? Are you feeling, you know, just what is your overall thoughts on the episode? All that good stuff. Anyways, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.